I'm Father Robert Ballister, the Digital Jesuit, host of This Week in Enterprise Tech on the TWIT TV network. I'm here at Enterprise Connect 2016 in Orlando, Florida, and I have the privilege of sitting next to Miss Amy Barzduka. She is the Vice President of Global Solutions Marketing at Polycom. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, we don't have to introduce Polycom. Everyone knows who Polycom is.
25 years.
25 years, one of the original players in this market. But you did have an exciting week. Can you talk a little bit about the announcements?
Yes, we made a series of announcements in conjunction with Microsoft today, where we announced first that our group series video endpoints that are in many of the Fortune 500 and many other customers as well, will be able to work directly with Skype for Business and Office 365 in the cloud. So that is huge news and something customers have really been asking us for. That'll be made available with a software update later this year that will also feature a user interface that looks much more like a Skype for Business interface. So great experience for people who are going to Skype for Business, Office 365. So that's the first announcement. The second announcement that we made with Microsoft is Microsoft announced their Project Rigel for simplified devices in conference rooms with a center of the room controller based on Windows. And so Polycom will be participating in Project Rigel, including with making our Real Presence Trio and our existing CX line of conference phones work as endpoints in Project Rigel environments. So really excited about the ability to get great video in more rooms. And then our third announcement, and in some ways one of the most exciting, is that we will be partnering with Microsoft to build a cloud interop service based on the technology that we have today available on premises for called Real Connect. So whether you're using Cisco, Polycom, Microsoft, or somebody else, you'll be able to use that with Office 365 and our new service. So that's super exciting for us.
Your announcements did get a buzz from the crowd. People are interested in finding out what Polycom has in store for us. But I'm more interested in what was the reaction of the folks who stopped by your booth. You've got a decent presence here at Enterprise Connect 2016. What were they most interested in?
So a whole lot of people came by our booth to experience Real Presence Centro, right? This is our new kind of center presence, center of room, and it is a video collaboration experience that is very, very hard to describe. You kind of have to experience it. And so really coming by the booth and taking a test drive, if you will, and experiencing it firsthand has been a huge, huge draw. In fact, those may be the most occupied couches in all of Enterprise Connect.
That is a bold statement. As you mentioned, Polycom has been around for more than 2 decades, 25 years. You've been doing UC before it was known as UC. But then I have to ask, that's actually difficult. It's difficult to be what we might consider a traditional player moving into what we have now, where everything is as a service and everything has to be both on-premise, in the cloud, or some combination of the two. What is the secret sauce that Polycom brings to the game? What is your differentiator?
So I think one of the first things that I would point to is quality matters, right? If you can't be heard, why bother being on the phone? And the quality of our audio is head and shoulders. It's something we're extraordinarily proud of, and in our most recent release of the Real Presence Trio as our landmark conference phone, it's the best, it's just the best, right? So having that quality and that same kind of focus on the quality and the enterprise grade video as well is another place where we just think that is a key differentiator, so that bad video is worse than no video. And if you can't hear, why bother? And I think coming on to that as well is that we have the broadest set of interoperability and the ability to work in multiple different ecosystems. And that gives us an opportunity to bring that fantastic quality to bear with open standards in a, regardless of what other things may be present in that environment.
Quality is a hallmark of Polycom products. But I have to ask, what have you seen being the most difficult part of people trying to work those products into their workflow, their existing workflow? I've seen this where you've got UC solutions that may have great technology and may have great promise, but if the business manager or the office manager or the office worker can't really figure out how to make it work with his or her productivity suite, it goes unused. Has Polycom seen this problem, and what have you done to combat it?
So we work and have the ability to integrate directly into calendars, for example. So one touch, click to join is a key thing that has made meetings better. One of the top complaints we hear from customers of all kinds, all sizes, is their most difficult problem is how do I schedule and start a meeting, right? And so the old, can you hear me, has given way to, are we on yet? Is this working? Can you see my content? Can you see me? Can you hear me? There's a whole now new set of questions that people have to ask when they start a meeting. And really being able to simplify and integrate into those calendars and into those workflows is kind of first and foremost, making it easy to start.
When you look at unified communications, there actually is a difference between how the generations use it, the millennials versus the baby boomers versus Gen X. What has Polycom seen as far as how far each generation is willing to go in its use of UC?
So we see millennials, digital natives, like they grew up with a smartphone, right? They have always had the ability to be connected. They think nothing of firing up a video chat with somebody on their phone, on their device. They're used to smaller screens. They're used to the personal, the me of their experience, and they expect it to work by touching, right? It's a very different mindset from people who are raised on a generation of remote controls. And so what we're seeing is the influence of those consumer devices and that consumer experience is something that we have to take into account in how people interact with our technologies as well. So if you'll take a look at some of our newest announcements, newest entries into the market, more and more touch screens, more and more simple iconography, and consistent simple iconography, so things resemble much more. In Real Presence Trio, for example, it looks like a smartphone. It's really easy to use. Now, older generations could deal with a remote control maybe after somebody explained it to them, but it turns out if you can make it work for millennials, the older generation are catching up too. They're using their smartphones now and a touch screen. The biggest difference you'll see is an older generation, when they come up to the touch screen, will hit it with their finger, where a millennial will come up to the touch screen and they'll hit it with their thumb.
Oh, wow.
That is actually a pretty key giveaway of which generation, if you're wondering which side they fall on.
Oh, that's fantastic. We have been speaking with Amy Barzduka. She is the Vice President of Global Solutions Marketing at Polycom. I want to thank you so very much for spending time with us. Now, if they wanted to find out more about Polycom, more about that 25-year history, more about what you are doing in UC, about your announcements at the show, where can they go?
www.polycom.com.
Amy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for giving us a new view of the technology that we love so much. I'm Father Robert Balliser, the Digital Jesuit, and stay tabbed to this channel because we still have more from Enterprise Connect 2016.